What's for breakfast? Let's find out as I prepare some of my jazzy-licious favorite breakfast treats on today's show. So please join me.
Jazzy, you're gonna be healthy with the Jazzy Vegetarian. Jazzy, so snazzy. We're gonna cook something healthy and light. Jazzy, so snazzy.
So join me in the kitchen right now.
We're gonna cook something healthy and light. That's right.
Today, I'll prepare some of my very favorite breakfast recipes. I'll begin with a quick and refreshing raspberry banana green dream smoothie. And if baked treats are your style, then delicious apple muffins with pumpkin seeds are sure to please. Now, do you want to change up your good morning fare a bit? Then try my delectable Rocky Mountain Toast. And then an old-time favorite, awesome oatmeal, cooked up jazzy style, tops off this fabulous breakfast lineup. So let's get cooking. Apple muffins with pumpkin seeds, a nutritious, delicious, and jazzy-licious way to start your day. They're low in fat, high on nutrition, and super high on good taste. And you've got a little surprise in store. You'll see what I'm going to use in place of the oil and the egg and some of the sugar in this recipe. It's really fantastic. What I've got to start off with is 2 cups of whole wheat flour. Then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. A little spice makes everything nice. And then just a touch of salt, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of sea salt. We're just going to whisk that all together. No need to sift. Now, I came up with these one morning when I wanted to make some fabulous breakfast muffins, but I really thought, less fat is good for me, but I really want to have a lot of great nutrition in there, but I want to make it taste good. That's the main thing. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add raisins. You could also use dried cranberries or dried cherries, but right now I'm using 1 cup of raisins. And then for something just a little bit different, 1/2 cup of pumpkin seeds. Now, these are raw pumpkin seeds, but you can use whatever you like. Sunflower seeds are just fine, too. So I'm going to toss them all about. All right, let's set that aside. We're going to put in about 1/2 teaspoon or so of lemon zest. So let me do that now. About half of this lemon. Alrighty. I love using lemon zest in recipes. Why? It just adds a pop of flavor. And since this is a morning muffin, I'm just going to throw everything right in there. Now I'm going to squeeze that lemon that I just zested. And we're going to use, about a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. When I put the lemon juice in at the end of the recipe, you're going to see how it reacts with that baking soda that I put in there, and it's going to immediately puff these muffins right up. That's about a tablespoon. I'm going to set that aside. Now my little jazzy trick. What is going to stand in for the egg in this recipe? What's going to stand in for the oil? Well, it's apples. An apple a day, right? My husband and I love going to the local apple orchards, especially in the fall. You get all those different kinds of apples. It's such a beautiful day up here in the mountains. You're going to see miles, literally, of beautiful apples. I'm standing here right next to my very favorite kind of apple, and that's the ginger gold. It's kind of like the sister or the brother, you might say, to the golden delicious, which is a very popular American apple. But the ginger gold has kind of a little spicy aftertaste to it, and it's very, very crunchy. They're just tiny apples right now, but come around late August, they're going to be about this big. Oh, they're just fantastic to just eat right off the vine or to cook with. Many farms have baskets and bushels where you can go and pick your own fruit. Go to the farm at the time of the year that the fruit is at its best. Try to support your local farmer. I'm going to show you my little trick. I'm going to peel the apples. I'm going to cut them up. Then I'm going to put them in the blender. I'm going to make a fresh applesauce that's going to be nice and full of air and flavor. And it's going to go into my muffin batter, and it's going to help to hold them together. And it's also going to give them a little sweetness. Looks pretty good. Usually 2 to 3 apples is going to make a cup and a half of this apple puree. Oh, yep, that's perfect. Now, these apples are going to turn brown pretty quickly, so you don't want to do this part in advance. You just want to do it right before you put it in your batter. There's about a half of a cup. So 3 apples is what I used today. Peeled them, cored them, put them in my blender. And now they're going in my apple and pumpkin seed muffins. That's fantastic. Now we're going to add all of the wet ingredients. And I'm going to start off with 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. That's going to add some really nice jazzy taste. And then about 1/2 of a cup of non-dairy milk. Any kind will do. Toss that about a bit. We may add a little bit more of the non-dairy milk later. Let's see what happens once we get everything else in. Then 1 tablespoon of this fresh lemon juice. Perfect. That's starting to smell so nice. Toss that about. We're going to add our apples. And the apples are what's actually going to bind it together. They're standing in for the oil, and they're also adding a bit of sweetness. So triple apple play, I say. That's just about ready. We're going to add about a tablespoon more of our vegan milk, and just add a little bit more milk, about a tablespoon at a time, until it is still a very thick consistency. There we go. That's perfect. That's all we needed. It's a very, very thick batter. That's what you want. You're done. Don't overmix. Let me put my blender down. I've oiled a 6-cup muffin tin with some vegan margarine, and I'm just going to fill them right up with my muffin mixture. Ooh, these are going to be big, giant muffins today. Now, I've turned my oven on to 375, and I'm going to bake them for about 35 to 40 minutes until you put a toothpick in there. It comes out nice and clean. You tap the top, and it's nice and crisp. Alrighty, there we are. Apple muffins with pumpkin seeds. Next up, I have a little surprise. One of my husband's favorites. It's my Rocky Mountain Toast. So let's get these babies in the oven.
Rocky Mountain Toast at sunrise. Sunrise makes you realize how beautiful the day is. Sunrise, sunrise. Rocky Mountain Toast. Rocky Mountain Toast.
When I was a little girl, my mother used to make me this great dish for breakfast that I really, really loved. She would take slices of bread, and she'd hollow out the center, and she would put an egg in it, and she would put it in the fry pan, and she would cook it. It's really, really delicious. So when I became vegan, I thought, I really miss that toast and egg dish that my mother used to make when I was a little girl. So I came up with the recipe that I'm going to make for you today. And tofu stands in place of the egg. So one morning I made it for my husband, and I hollowed out the little bread, and I put my tofu mixture in it, like you're going to see, and I served it to him, and he said, "Oh my goodness, you're making Rocky Mountain Toast." And I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Rocky Mountain Toast. This is what my mother used to make when I was a little boy. She'd make the bread with the egg in it." Well, I asked my mother the other day, "What did you call that bread with the egg in it when I was a little girl?" And she said, "Well, I called it bread with the egg in it." So that's why it's called Rocky Mountain Toast, although I still don't know why it's called that. But we'll just stick with that for today. So anyway, you just take a piece of bread. I've got some whole grain, flourless, sprouted bread here today, but use any whole grain bread that you like. You can use a little cookie cutter and take out the center of that bread. So easy. So I'm going to go by with all 4 of them. And it's such a pretty dish, too, you'll see. You can actually save the little pieces that you're taking out of the center. You can put them in a baggie and put them in the freezer and use them as breadcrumbs later on. That's a great jazzy tip. So I'm going to set these aside while I make the filling. I'm starting off with 1 block, about 15 ounces of firm or extra firm tofu. I've taken this tofu out of the package. I put it into a colander. You just want to press it down so all the liquid drains out of it. And this is what you come up with. Just put that right in the bottom of my bowl. Let me just wash off my hands. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of turmeric. And I'm also going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of sea salt. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of tamari. And just take my trusty potato masher and start mashing. That's really all there is to it. See how you're kind of getting that yellow color that almost resembles scrambled eggs? That's what you're looking for. Excellent. Perfect. Now, what's going to hold it all together? It's vegan cheese, and I'm using the cheddar variety. That's it. So easy. I'm going to spread some vegan margarine on both sides of my bread. That's going to keep the bread from sticking to the bottom of the pan. I actually do use a non-stick pan for this. Otherwise, the tofu will stick to the bottom of the pan. So you do want to use a non-stick pan with this. So just a little bit of that vegan margarine on either side of the bread. This recipe makes anywhere from 4 to 6 Rocky Mountain toasts. All right. So you want to get this bread going first. Put that on a medium heat. Put the top on. And we're going to let it go for about 2 minutes. And then we're going to add our tofu in the center. Now we started to get a little color to the bottom of the toast, which is what we want. Add just a little bit of this vegan margarine to the pan, right in the center, so that we can make sure that the tofu doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. I'm going to turn it down to medium-low. Okay. You're going to put your tofu mixture right in there. Pile it up, press it down. There we go. One more. Just press that tofu right into those little holes. This is also a great substitute if your family likes French toast. This is something that changes it up a little bit. I'm going to put the top on. About 30 seconds, I'm going to flip them over, and we're almost ready to finish up our Rocky Mountain toast. I can smell those apple muffins. They're really smelling delicious, and I can hear my Rocky Mountain toast sizzling. Getting sizzling hot. Oh, yeah. Let's check it out. See if it's got some color on the underside. Yes, it does. This is the hardest part, is trying to turn your Rocky Mountain toast over without the whole thing falling apart. Oh, yeah, there it is. Isn't that beautiful? Look how gorgeous that is. Let's see if I can get 2 out of 3. Getting some beautiful color on there. And you see how that looks like you've got scrambled eggs in the middle? That's what it ends up tasting like, too. All right, let's see if I can do 3 out of 3 here this morning. Jazzalicious. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. There we go. I get happy when that works. I do get happy when that works. When anything in the kitchen works, I get happy. Okay, I'm going to put the top back on there, and we're going to let that sizzle on a medium-low heat for about 4 minutes. You might flip them over one more time again. I'm going to plate it up for you later. And right now, on to an old staple, something that you say, I haven't had that in a long time. It's my awesome oatmeal, and you're going to love this recipe that I'm going to make for your good morning breakfast treat. Awesome oatmeal. Now you think, how can oatmeal be awesome? But in fact, it truly is. It really comes out tasting great every single time. I'm going to start off with 2 cups of just regular old-fashioned oats. 1, 2. Great. So I'm going to add about 3 3/4 cups of water. Next, I like to add just a touch of salt. And then I like to have a little sweet in my oatmeal. And today I'm adding raisins, about 3 tablespoons of raisins. And I know it doesn't look like a lot of raisins, but what happens is when the oatmeal cooks, it really plumps up the raisins. So they get nice and plump and juicy and sweet in this fabulous oatmeal. That's the basic recipe. Put it on the stove. Turn it to a medium heat. And you're going to let it cook for about 10 minutes. Check it often. Make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot. Just about when the oatmeal is done, which is right now, you can see it's got that great creamy consistency. This is something my friend Lily taught me years and years ago. You want to let the oatmeal rest off the heat for about 5 to 10 minutes. And what I do right before I let it rest is I toss either maple sugar or brown sugar on the top. Today I have maple sugar. And you see, you're just going to sprinkle that. Look how pretty that is. Right over the top of your oatmeal. Now, you want to cover it very, very quickly. Move it off the heat. And just let it set for about 10 minutes. That's my little jazzy trick. You're going to see when I take that top off how beautiful it looks. And it finishes cooking that oatmeal just perfectly. So it's not too sticky, but it just has the perfect consistency. Yay. Now, that recipe, by the way, is from my cookbook. And this recipe is from my cookbook, too. This is my raspberry banana Green Dream Smoothie. This is the way you can get the morning started with a great smoothie that has a little pop of green, but you can't taste it and you can't see it. It's really, really pretty. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to add, about a cup of water. We might add more. I'm using filtered water today. I'm going to use filtered water or spring water. And now I have frozen 2 bananas. I cut them up first. I put them in a resealable bag. I laid them flat in the freezer for about 24 hours. So I've got 2 fresh frozen bananas. And then about 1.5 cups of frozen raspberries. This is going to make 2 servings. And then I'm going to add 1.5 ounces, about 2 cups, lightly packed of organic baby spinach. And you're going to see how that spinach is just going to disappear right into that smoothie. You'll never know you're getting your salad in a breakfast, in a glass, in a smoothie. A little more water. Don't want it to be too thin, so I'm not going to add all that water. Got to start that going on slow. Oh yeah, there you go. Let me check that out. I think that's the perfect consistency. Never know there's spinach in there, but it really does give me a lot of energy. And I like to pour it into a nice, pretty glass. Let me just get some pretty glasses over here. Alrighty. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Pour that right in there. Isn't that appetizing? Can't wait to taste this. Woo! Here we go. And I'm going to taste it right now. Here's to you. happy, healthy breakfast. Oh, wow. That is so good. Those bananas, they make it nice and thick, almost like it feels like you have cream or yogurt in it. And then those raspberries with a little bit of the seeds add that beautiful raspberry taste. And then you've got that spinach, which you can't taste and you can't see, but it's in there and it gives you a little pop of energy. So right now I'm going to plate up the rest of my breakfast favorites. I'm going to taste them for you. My breakfast favorites. Oh, it's absolutely awesome. It smells fabulous in here. I wish you could be here with me to share this beautiful and bountiful breakfast. And here we are, my awesome oatmeal. Woo, it's nice and steamy, perfectly cooked, and that maple sugar has just melted all over the top and just dripping into that oatmeal, making it a really tasty way to start the day. You could also use agave with this. You could use maple syrup, or you really don't have to use all the sweetener, but sure makes it taste good. It's the way my husband likes it too. And I like to dress it up just with a little bit of vegan milk. I'm just going to give it a taste. That is really good. See how the texture is just perfect? It sticks together, but yet it just kind of melts in your mouth once you put it in. Such great nutrition, too. I love that. Give it a try. And then next up, my fantastic Rocky Mountain Toast. It's such an attractive breakfast treat. Take a piece for myself. Oh, that crispy, crispy toast. Look how pretty that is. What a sunny way to start the day. I just love that. The bread gets so crispy on top, and then you've got your tofu in the middle, which really just tastes like scrambled eggs. It's delicious. Look at these fabulous muffins. Apple muffins with pumpkin seeds. Really fantastic. See how they puffed up? So it's all crispy on top. I'm going to break it open for you so you can see on the inside. Woo! Look at how beautiful that is. Ooh, there's a big chunk of apple now. Really fantastic. Oh, that's so delicious. Moist on the inside, nice and crispy on top. That's a great breakfast muffin. So good. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me today. I had a fabulous time making all of my breakfast favorites for you. So the next time you're looking for a really tasty morning meal, I hope you'll look to the recipes on today's show. So until next time, be happy, be healthy, and be well from the Jazzy Vegetarian.
Visit our website at jazzyvegetarian.com to connect with Laura, see videos, find your favorite recipes, and more. Follow Laura on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Laura Theodore's Jazzy Vegetarian Classics features recipes from this series, and it's available for $26.95. Jazzy Vegetarian, a collection of favorite recipes, is available for $24.95. A set of both cookbooks is available for $44.95. For information or to order, visit jazzyvegetarian.com.
Organic love, 100% natural. Yes, it is now. Organic love. I've got no additives or no preservatives. It's real intuitive. It's downright primitive. Organic love is 100% natural. Yes, it is now.